Was charged and jailed as a terrorist, accused of planning the assassination of the Prime Minister. But tonight, Mohammed Nizamdeen is a free man. Police have dropped all charges against the university student because the evidence simply didn't stack up. But they've refused to apologise, and now he plans to sue.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to MediaWatch and to an embarrassing case of wrongful arrest involving a model student at the University of New South Wales. Mohammed Nizamdeen was locked up for a month in Goulburn's Supermax prison, kept in solitary confinement and cut off from family and friends. And then 10 days ago, the terror charge against him was dropped after the case collapsed, leading his lawyer to tell the media,
"What authorities have done to this young man is absolutely unforgivable. We will be seeking justice for him in the New South Wales Supreme Court."
The case against Nizamdeen, who's the nephew of Sri Lanka's sports minister, contained exactly one piece of evidence, a notebook that allegedly belonged to him, containing a list of terror targets, including Malcolm Turnbull, Julie Bishop and Sydney landmarks. But there was just one problem. The handwriting wasn't his, and police were belatedly forced to admit,
At this stage, based on the evidence we've got, it's likely that he did not write those comments in the notebook.
It now appears Nizamdeen may have been set up, perhaps by a romantic rival, which was suggested by his brother in the Sydney Morning Herald only days after his arrest. But whether that's true or not, his lawyer is adamant that police should never have charged him.
They have special powers to investigate terrorism suspects without charge for 2 weeks. This is ample time for an expert to confirm Nizamdeen's innocence. Instead, they charged him, permanently linking his name to terrorism.
But it was not just the police who screwed up. It was also those in the media who pronounced him guilty. Like Sydney's Daily Telegraph, which splashed him on the front page the day after his arrest, looking anything but innocent in a red and white keffiyeh, and the headline, "Poster boy for terror."
Uni mentor plotting mass murder.
And the telly then told readers,
a squeaky clean university prefect who helped design a cybersecurity app and was a poster child for diversity on campus, was secretly plotting lone wolf mass murder terror attacks that included the Prime Minister and the Opera House as his targets.
Sure, the paper followed that with the magic words, "police will allege," but it then made do with inverted commas to signal the allegations as it continued.
Nizamdeen's disturbing, graphic and full-on plans were only uncovered on Thursday when his diary was found by a University of New South Wales staff member.
And inside the paper there was even less caution about Nizamdeen's possible innocence, with the headline blaring,
Deadly diary of a uni star.
Former PM, Polly's and Opera House found in chilling terror hit list.
Typically, the Daily Mail was almost as bad, with inverted commas again the only sign that the charges were as yet unproven.
Sri Lankan uni student and ISIS recruit charged with plotting terror attacks had a hit list with plans to assassinate Malcolm Turnbull and Julie Bishop.
So, were there any signs at the time that police might have got it wrong? Well, yes there were, because Nizamdeen was in many ways a most unlikely terrorist. He was charming, well-spoken, a model student, and almost always smiling. And to judge by his party piece, he was no fundamentalist. Nizamdeen also had no police record and had not come onto police radar as a possible threat, despite living here for years. Indeed, as Channel 10 reported at the time of his arrest,
one thing that's also quite surprising and very interesting about this, Sandra, is that the suspect had actually worked with police in the past to try to improve community safety.
He was smart, friendly, a conscientious PhD student who, believe it or not, worked with and even starred in e-safety campaigns with police.
Nizamdeen was also well regarded by the University of New South Wales and by his fellow students.
Mohammed Nizamdeen is described by his university as a hero. People who know the IT contractor can't believe it.
I was very shocked. It really took me by surprise.
9 and 10 both gave real weight to Nizamdeen's good character in their reports. But viewers who watched 7 News were given no reason to doubt his guilt.
Now, right now, police are examining his background, they're examining his capabilities, the 25-year-old's ability to access weapons. There's a great irony to all of this. He is literally, Michael, a poster boy for a University of New South Wales campaign called the Hero Program. So clearly he has embraced all the opportunities Australia has given him, but very much an anti-hero now.
As we said earlier, Nizamdeen is now suing the police, and his argument is primarily with them. But he's certainly not happy about the media coverage, and the Telegraph in particular, telling MediaWatch,
Kamer's reputation has been ruined. We were not contacted by media for fact-checking. Ironically, the picture of Kamer used by the Daily Telegraph was taken at a university dress-up party, a clear example of an agenda-driven media outlet manipulating content.
And he added,
although we were able to get charges withdrawn before trial, this kind of reporting does compromise the proper administration of justice. Ultimately, these narratives that are forged by the media are impossible to erase from the mind of a jury.
As Seven's Robert Avadia pointed out, police in terror cases often arrest first and investigate later because it can be dangerous to wait. But that makes it doubly important for the media to treat the charges with caution. So what does the telly have to say in its defence? In short, that it did nothing wrong.
The man was charged with a serious crime. The Daily Telegraph reported fairly and accurately the allegations made against him by police.
So, was this front page really fair and accurate? Poster boy for terror? Uni mentor plotting mass murder? In my opinion, no. And the latest news is the whole thing may have been a prank. As 7 News reported last weekend, following a news story in the Telegraph.
It's understood that there was bad blood between Mr. Nizamdeen and another man over a woman. Counter-terrorism police are investigating whether that's what led to the disturbing notebook entries they found.
We'll see if that turns out to be true, but as yet no charges have been laid, so unlike many in the media, we have chosen not to name the person police have interviewed.